Ghost of Yotei is releasing on October 2nd, and we have a new trailer, blog post, and an interview that reveals a ton of information about the game. We learned about a new weapon type, both returning and new activities, and some major new features that you might have missed. Because yes, Ghost of Yotei is changing more than you think, so let's go over all the new details. And let's start with the trailer, which gives us a ton of info on the main story of Ghost of Yotei, and it's going to be a tale of revenge. Atsu, our new protagonist, has had her family taken from her at a very young age by a band of outlaws called the Yotei 6. They then left the poor girl pinned to a tree with her father's katana, but somehow she survived. And now, 16 years after that incident, Atsu returns to the Ezo region to hunt down the 6 and avenge her family. So these Yotei 6, the snake, the Oni, the Kitsune, the Spider, the Dragon, and Lord Saito will be your main antagonists for the story, and it's up to you to decide which one you take out first. Because unlike Ghost of Tsushima's linear story, you will choose which leads to follow as you pick which Yotei 6 member you want to hunt down first, which makes it sound like you can go after them in any order. That means the sequel has a narrative structure more similar to how Assassin's Creed Shadows handled its targets, which does raise some worries. However, while I don't think the open-ended nature of Shadows' narrative did it many favors, that does not need to be the case for Ghost of Yotei. 6 targets is a lot less than 12, and if each has the time to develop into a proper and interesting villain, there is potential in picking your own targets too. The blog post also hints there are other dangerous targets and bounties to hunt down, which is another big departure from Ghost of Tsushima. Where Jin had an allegiance to his lord and a common enemy in the Mongol invaders, Atsu seems to work more like a sellsword or a bounty hunter, chasing down dangerous criminals for vengeance and for personal gains. Or at least that's where she starts, as she'll of course meet new people and form new alliances as the story progresses. I'm personally most excited to meet the Weapon Sensei, a new type of NPC that is able to teach Atsu new skills. In an interview, the developer stated that you can find teachers who will teach you how to use a weapon in a very organic way that you might see inside of samurai films, so you get to experience what it's like to grow as a martial artist along with Atsu. So while Jin was able to learn new sword techniques thanks to some of the mythic tales, Atsu will actually have to find a teacher that she will then train with in order to learn new techniques. The updated store page for the game actually gives us 2 examples of new skills, those being unblockable strikes and the ability to disarm your enemies. On top of that, there are of course many new weapons to master, as unlike the Ghost, Atsu is not limited to a bow and a katana. The reveal trailer already showed dual katanas, a kusarigama, an odachi, and a rifle, and this new trailer also shows her using a spear known as a yari. While we don't know for sure, enemies using spears in Tsushima were very adept at breaking through Jin's guard, so I'm expecting a similar benefit now that we are able to use it ourselves. Also interesting is that we can see many of the weapon types Atsu is using reflected by the Yotei 6, like one is wielding a rifle, one a kusarigama. Jordan already speculated we might need to earn these weapons from them, which makes the fact that we get to choose which one to go after first even more interesting. The odachi is definitely highest on my list, but let me know what weapon you're most looking forward to in the comments. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Okay, now let's talk about another new mechanic, as at the end of the trailer we see Atsu shift into a younger version of herself. This immediately reminded me of Jin's memories in the Iki Island DLC, but the blog post clarifies that it is a new gameplay mechanic that will allow you to glimpse Atsu's past and understand everything that was taken from her. The fact they specifically refer to it as a mechanic makes it sound pretty major, but it's likely tied to specific locations that are relevant to Atsu's past, like in the trailer example, we're visiting her old home. It does make a ton of sense to focus on Atsu's history though, as her actions in the present are heavily influenced by what happened in her past, so we need that information to connect with her as a character. We also learned about returning activities from Tsushima, like the rope walking segment from the new trailer made me think of the platforming shrines from the first game, and the updated store page also mentioned shrines as well as bathing in onsen, another returning activity, and sumii painting, a new addition for Yotei. Like I mentioned earlier, there are targets with bounties on their heads you can hunt down, and the collector's edition also reveals a more playful pastime you can enjoy. There's a pouch of coins for a game called Zeni Hajiki, which according to the description is a game of skill skill you'll play throughout Ghost of Yotei. Let's just hope this does not turn into Yotei's version of Gwent, or otherwise there is no hope we're ever getting the main quest done. There's another item called the Traveler's Map that hints at a new type of activity. You get the early unlock for this in both the Digital Deluxe and the Collector's Edition, and it allows you to find statues throughout the world to upgrade your skills. Combine that with what we know about Weapon Sensei, and it sounds like exploration in Ghost of Yotei will be incredibly rewarding, while also hinting at the fact that combat is going to be more complex, since we can now learn and upgrade skills for many different weapon types. And if at any point you need a break from the action, Sucker Punch have also confirmed that you'll be able to build a campfire anywhere in the open world for a rest under the stars. Which is again something new for Ghost, as we did not need to rest in Tsushima, so I wonder what the purpose of this activity is. Maybe it allows you to restock and change the time of day like the campfires in Horizon did, but now you don't have to look for one and you can just take a rest anywhere you want to. Or maybe it is just for practicing your shamisen skills, which, as I pointed out in an earlier video, is a nice parallel between Atsu and Jin. There are more of these parallels that have appeared with the new info, and for one I specifically want to look at the name of this new trailer, the Onryo's List. The Onryo, which is a vengeful spirit in Japanese, refers to Atsu, so in a way this trailer already confirms she'll eventually earn the title of Ghost. And that's not speculation, by the way, as the interview confirmed that the people of Ezo will start to believe Atsu is an Onryo, which is a folktale ghost that is an unstoppable force for vengeance. So similar to how Jin became larger than life to the people of Tsushima, Atsu is forming her own legend. But the fact that she's specifically known as a vengeful spirit is of course interesting, as it makes me believe this story will get much darker than Jin's. Another interesting parallel is the importance of family and how they still influence both protagonists even after they are gone. Jin of course had his father as the guiding winds and his mother as the songbird to guide him, and we already speculated that the wolf we've seen multiple times throughout the trailer is of clear importance to Atsu, but now we finally have confirmation why. The blog post confirms that the Tsuba, so the sword guard that's depicting two wolves, was made by Atsu's father, so this creature is clearly representative of him in some way. But where a wolf usually forms a pack with its family, this one is a lone hunter, much like Atsu herself after losing her family. With how important animals were in Tsushima, I definitely think this is something significant, and the trailer seems to confirm that the wolf is also included in gameplay as well. So next to all these new weapons, it looks like we're also getting a wolf pet. And let's quickly go back to the contents of the game's special editions, as these confirm more returning features. Armors will have alternate dice, as the Digital Deluxe edition includes an alternate die for your starting armor, and sword kits and horse saddles are also returning cosmetic items. The charm system is back as well, although we don't know what charm exactly we're getting, and I imagine the system as a whole might have undergone some changes with how in-depth combat is shaping up to be. Also good to note is that the prices and pre-order dates for all these editions have been revealed. The base edition will be $70, and the Digital Deluxe edition with some of the items I just mentioned will cost $80. The Collector's Edition, which among other things includes a physical replica of Atsu's mask, will be available for $250, and all editions go live for pre-orders on May 2nd at 10 AM local time. Don't forget to subscribe, as we'll be covering the game all the way to launch, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. You can also watch our previous video on all the big improvements that are coming in Ghost of Yotei by clicking on the screen, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!